talking about air conditioners and how the air conditioning compressor is in a car, and that the mayflies are what is causing that hazard. So that, in my mind, is what the nuisance would be.
Interesting.
So when you add wants to provide additional, I would understand why it's furthermore rather than consequential.
Okay, good point though. Okay, so you were thinking air conditioners on cars.
That is what it's talking about.
Well, it says that it impacts non-driving humans as well by collecting on air conditioner compressors. So I think it's skipping to something else there. Yeah,
I wrote it impacts driving.
yeah, I could see that. Okay. And then E, it says streetlights are necessities that provide safety to both driving and non-driving humans. Again, that's about like kind of the nuisance of streetlights, I guess, rather than mayflies. So yeah, even if you didn't, what Sam was saying though, even if you didn't read like the rest of it and you just looked at the transition words, however, and consequently, and as is common knowledge, you probably need to get rid of those and decide between furthermore and also, because it is asking you for another piece of evidence. Yeah, so it's C.
I'll look at that.
Okay. All right, let's see, sentence 4 or question 4. It was a toss up for me between B and C. Did you feel that was true?
I felt it was a toss between A and B.
Oh,
I think C.
I was between C and D. I got it right.
I didn't.
Good for you.
I didn't feel like an A test to talk about the fluidity of a sentence. Because you always hate it when we say that as to like tell somebody. They're like,
yeah,
well, what do you
I'm like,
mean?
be more specific.
So I don't
Yeah.
think that it would ever be the fluidity of a sentence. And then I didn't think it was B because in my mind, the paragraph's main claim was that they're a nuisance, not a hazard. So but I also didn't like, I chose A, and I don't like that I chose A. Because I didn't like the way it was worded where it's hazards of streetlights, but I don't think that's what it's about. But then
Okay,
I
good.
also didn't want to take it out because I thought it worked.
Yeah, let's talk about why it won't be A. It's because it emphasizes the importance of the evidence about the hazards of streetlights. So it's like these little words in here that are throwing us, but it's saying like adding another hazard to humans in cars is not emphasizing the importance of evidence. It is, does that make sense? I don't know how to explain that. It's the importance of evidence that throws me there. Emily?
So I read it and then I immediately crossed off all of the guess options because where that's like placed in the sentence, it makes it sound like the streetlights are the hazards and not the mayflies, which need the streetlights turned off. So I immediately crossed off all of the guess options because it doesn't, in my opinion, make any sense to be in the sentence.
Let's hear it out loud. In fact, often streetlights are shut off, another hazard to humans in cars, in order to decrease the number of mayflies congregating near them. So what it is saying is that because mayflies are congregating, they've turned off the streetlights, which is then a hazard to cars, right? So I can see why then the order is a little bit messy there, like maybe that wouldn't be the best order for it, but out of our options, it does tell us about why we should care about the streetlights being shut off. Without that addition, we don't know why it would matter that the streetlights are shut off. We wouldn't know why that would be a nuisance, right? You'd have to make so many like jumps and assumptions in your mind to be able to figure that out, that by explicitly saying why that would be a problem, you are making it clear why mayflies are a problem. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, like it just like it clarifies why they're talking about streetlights in the first place.
yeah. Otherwise, it just kind of feels random that they're talking about streetlights at all.
Yeah, and then like what Sam said with the mayflies are a nuisance, not a hazard. The mayflies are causing the hazard because they're a nuisance.
Right. Yeah. Does that make it any clearer? A little bit. Okay. Four was the toughest question here. Is there any others that you want to discuss? Okay, out of 8, how many of you guys, let me do some quick calculations. All right, how many of you guys got 5 or above? All right, cool. Very cool. Okay, that would be 60%. So that's a little bit more than 60%, right? So that's a great place to be. Anybody get full points? 8 out of 8? Me too. But do you see how few? That's totally fine to not get full points. 60% is like what you're going for. If you get 60% on the multiple choice, I mean, you're going for perfect, right? But if you get 60% on the multiple choice, you should be feeling very good about yourself because that means all you gotta do on the essays are 4s. Yeah.
We use the AP test back.
No, you'll never see it again.
We'll never see it again.
Within a year, you can see the prompts again, but not the multiple choice. It goes away.
Well, no, but like, will they send us back our essay?
No, no. Yeah, you can. I think it's an urban legend. Yeah. After the test, there's like thousands of memes about all the questions. So I wonder if that one was just more specific. or-
Because, well, yeah, but because so many people made memes about it, they ended up curbing it so much that almost everyone.
Was this last year's?
No, it was ninth grade. It
Oh,
was
okay.
really stupid because
see.
half the schools in the US had an outdated textbooks.
I see. So they realized that that was unfair to economic situations, looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I have the wrong notes here. Pull out.
Very bad, pretty much.
Oh, that's not true. You should be proud if you get a 3.
No, he's like, the point difference between 2 and 3 is so small. You should be disappointed.
Who said that?
Mr. Berger. He's my favorite. He was so funny. Yeah, except as the year went on,
A 3 gets you credit.
Wait, what just
He
happened?
like- Snag started, he and I started fighting. Because I told Roxy clearly to shut up. She was really loud. And he yelled at me.
Okay, I gave you 4 prompts here.
Please don't make me
4 Lang prompts. We're going to practice speed. Okay. Oh, you can handle it. You can focus for 10 minutes. You're going to write 4 thesis statements in 10 minutes. Okay, so we've got one about cell phones. We've got one about civics.
What is civics?
Well, it's more about
Like a Honda system?
morality.
Oh, Honda civics. Yeah.
It's more about morality. We've got one about freedom and whether you can be free when another is chained. And we have one about the purpose of entertainment. So wide range of argument topics here. I don't really expect anyone to be able to do 4 thesis statements in 10 minutes because it's so fast, but I want us to really try to reach that. So you can write it on a piece of paper. Write it on this paper.
What type of essay is this?
Argumentative.
Oh, easy. It'd be like,
They gotta come up with 4 hooks. Takes me 10 minutes to come up with one.
No, we just have to write the pieces.
Say, look at my notes on your last thesis statement. Notice where I said to be more specific, or if I said, this is awesome, keep going this way.
You just
Your
said
thesis statement is about claims and reasons.
getting. It's just the thesis statement.
Just the thesis. I'm gonna do it with you. Okay, you ready? We'll see. I might be able to do 10, might be able to do 4. We will see. Okay, 10 minutes, go. What I like about it, I like the nuance of it. I like that I'm not just saying we should have arguments or we should never have arguments. I am setting up the terms for when we should have those arguments. The other part that I like is that I get into the consequences. Like I'm saying here, it's gonna help. If we talk about this too much, we're gonna lose our relationships and our respect. And what I really like about that is how specific what you will lose is, right? I don't just say there will be negative consequences. I say exactly which negative consequences I'm going to talk about in this paper. And there's probably lots of negative consequences, like an unpleasant dinner experience could be one, right? But I'm just going to talk about those two. So put a star next to the thesis. Now that you've gotten some feedback, put a star next to the thesis that you think is your best. Even if you don't agree with that person that looked at it.
Your best one is the whatever one you.
Okay, now here's the painful part. I also want you to do this with their worst thesis statement. So if, negative feedback can be helpful too. So trade the papers again with that person, have them give you feedback on which one they think is your weakest thesis, and make sure you explain why it's their weakest. So the first part of this, we looked at the 4 thesis statements and we said, which one of these is your strongest and why? And then which one is the weakest and why? So when you write these 4 thesis statements, just do some, inner dialogue about it. Which one do you think is your strongest and your weakest and why? Okay, I keep forgetting to record. We're talking about how to write body paragraphs. I'm going to show you what mine looks like so far. I stepped out of the classroom for a minute, so I only got about 2 minutes worth of writing. All right, that's not going to work. I'll read it to you. It says, even though it can be uncomfortable to discuss controversial and deeply held moral beliefs, it's important to participate in these discussions because it can both expand and solidify our points of view. That's my topic sentence. I say, we might believe we have all the answers to life's moral questions, but by interacting with others, we can recognize nuance and complexity. The past year of politics showed us a culmination of what happens when we don't engage in these kinds of discussions. So now I am moving into my example. I say algorithms on our social media pages, and from there I had to stop. So it would be about how it kind of focuses our attention on, echo chambers. We're just hearing what we want to hear. And then how that could cause extreme political beliefs, such as the attack on the Capitol. So this is just the first part of my argument, which is about why we need to have these conversations. All right, so you've written your body paragraph now for 1 point. 1 point in your argument, your first body paragraph. You're going to do a little peer review of your own work. Does it have a topic sentence? Is the topic sentence a small piece of the argument? Is it focused enough? Or are you trying to talk about too much in one paragraph? Do you have an example that is detailed enough? Does that example establish logos, ethos, or pathos? Like, is the example appropriate for an academic setting? And then the last one is, do you provide the explanation for why the example explains, your topic sentence, why the example works as evidence? At the end here, we just played Isocent for like 15 minutes. That's not necessarily a part you need to make up, so you are good.